ठीक है, रहने दे, ऐसे ही स्टार्ट कर।
When trying to do it, give me a second and do it fine. Otherwise, anyway, I'm giving entry to everybody now.
Recording is already started.
दिल का अब संकल्प यही है, दिल का अब संकल्प यही है, बाबा तुम सा बनना ही है। साथ लिया है, हाथ लिया
Om Shanti. Today is the Murli is dated 18th January 1993, and this is Avyak Bapdada Divas. It is a Smriti Divas of Baba, Brahma Baba. And the title of today's Murli is The Basis of Revelation is a Firm Promise. Is my volume clear? Is the voice
Yes.
clear? Okay. Today, Almighty Baba is celebrating a meeting with his almighty children. Almighty Baba has given as a birthright to every child the treasures of total awareness, that is, the treasure of all the powers as soon as they took Brahman birth. Each Brahman soul claims this right, becomes complete, and also makes others complete. Bap Dada has given total awareness to every child very easily within a second. How did he give it to you? He reminded you within a second. So the awareness became the key for total power. You remembered my Baba, and Baba said, my child. So Baba gave this spiritual awareness, that is, there's some noise.
Can you just check your
Okay, yeah, should be good now. Yeah, someone's mic was on. You remembered my Baba, and Baba said, my child. So Baba gave this spiritual awareness, that is, the key to all the treasures within a second. You accepted Baba as yours and you claimed the complete birthright. So you received it easily, did you not? Or was it difficult? The Baba is asking, it was easy, was it not? Now, each Brahmin soul says with faith and intoxication, Baba's treasures are my treasures. You have made Baba's treasures your own. Today is said to be the day of special remembrance. This day of remembrance is a day for giving total power to the children. In fact, the day of Brahman birth is the day for attaining total power. However, there is special importance to this day of remembrance. Do you know what this importance is? Today, that is on 18th of January, on the day of remembrance, Brahma Baba made himself Avyakt. In the physical corporeal form, he willed special willpower to the special children in order to reveal them to the world. Just as in the beginning he willed himself, all his relationships, and all his wealth to the Shaktis for the sake of service. In the same way, on this day of remembrance, Brahma Baba, through the corporeal form in the corporeal world, willed all the willpower to the children, to the Shakti army, in order for them to play their corporeal part for the sake of world service. If you study Baba's history, you will, for those of you who don't know, you will get to know that he surrendered everything in a second, all that he owned, whether it was wealth, whether it was any kind of belongings, whether it was any kind of relationship, all of that he surrendered in a second. He himself adopted the form of an Avyak incognito server and made the children instruments for world benefit in the corporeal form. He never came in the forefront. He always was there in the background. In fact, he got all the sisters whom he later on called as dadis, and he got them in the front. That is, in the corporeal form, he willed the willpower for service. This is why this day is called the day of remembrance, the day of power. Do you understand? On the basis of that remembrance, Bap Dada is seeing that in this land and in foreign lands, children in all four directions are becoming instruments and are continuing and will continue to progress in service because the children have a special Trimurti blessing. You have the blessing of Father Shiva anyway, but as well as that, you also have the blessing of Father Brahma, the bestower of fortune, and together with that, you also have the blessing of the sweet virgins of the Mother, Jagdamba Saraswati. That is why, with the Trimurti blessing, you are experiencing the right to easy success. As you progress, there will be the experience of easy methods and elevated success. So at this moment, all of us Brahmin children have got three Murti blessing. First of Shiv Baba, second of Brahma Baba, and the third is of Mamma Baba. That is Jagdamba Saraswati. In all four directions, there is the zeal and enthusiasm to reveal Bap Dada, and that there should be revelation very soon. The revelation of that Baba has arrived, the Supreme Lord has arrived. This is what everyone wants, is it not? People want, all the Brahmins want that, okay, people get aware, more and more souls get aware that Satyug is around the corner. When will that happen? Should it happen tomorrow? That while sitting here, you hear the bugles of revelation. It has already happened. What do you simply have to do? You're doing it and you have to do it. In order to blow the bugles of complete revelation, you must just do one thing, not even two, just one. And what is that one thing? You children are the basis for bringing about revelation, and children have to especially underline one thing because the balance between revelation and a promise is the basis for all souls to receive blessings from Bapdata. You make a promise every day. You do make a promise, do you not? I was asking. So why is there a day in the revelation? It should happen now, should it not? So Bapdata saw that you make a promise with your heart and with love. What was it? What is it? You do make a promise, but one is a promise and the other is a firm pledge. What is the sign of a firm pledge? The sign of a firm pledge is that you may die, but you cannot ever break the pledge. When it is a question of life, then no matter how many small problems arise or how fearsome the circumstances may be from time to time, what are all of these in front of question of life? So this is called a firm pledge. No matter what the circumstances are, the external circumstances cannot make the stage of the self fluctuate. At any time, in any situation, you cannot be defeated. but you will become the garland around the neck. You will become part of the rosary of victory. You will become the decoration around God's neck. This is called a firm thought, that is, a firm pledge. So you have to underline the word firm. To make a promise means to give the practical proof. But at present, sometimes some children make a promise, and together with that, they also play a very good game. You must have understood by now. You have become very sensible. So, what games do you play? When any problems or circumstances come, that becomes an excuse to make your promise weak. So, instead of solving that, you play many games of giving excuses. You are very clever in this, Baba says. What is the language of giving excuses? It wasn't like that, or it was like this, or if it hadn't happened in this way, then it would be like that. This one said this, and this one did this. The circumstances were such, the situation was like that. So, like this and like that, etc., is the language of giving excuses. And the language of a firm pledge is whether it is like this or like that, I have to become like the Father. I have to become. I do not have to make others this. I have to become. It shouldn't be, I will only be good if others do this. If others give cooperation, only then will I become complete. Only then will I become perfect. In that case, becoming perfect becomes circumstantial. It doesn't become a matter of your pledge. Instead of receiving in this way, to become the master bestowers and give cooperation, love, and sympathy is, in fact, receiving. Remember, the meaning of Brahman life is to give is to receive. The receiving is merged in the giving. This is why the basis of a firm pledge is to see the self, to change the self, and to maintain your self respect. The self respect is of being a master bestower. What will you do in this Avyaktya? Will you go from Madhuban having made a promise? And then when you return home, will you play the game of giving excuses? Instead of your promise being firm, there is one main reason for the promise being weak or for your being loose in fulfilling that promise. For instance, no matter how big any machinery may be, even if one tiny screw becomes loose, it makes the whole machine useless. In order to fulfill such a promise, you may make very good plans and you may also make a lot of effort. However, the screw which makes your plans and effort weak is carelessness. Sister Harpreet belongs to the aviation industry, so she can very much relate to this, that how important it is, of the thousands and lakhs of screws that are there in an airplane. Even one screw not being there is not acceptable. However, the screw which makes your plans and effort weak is carelessness that comes in different forms. It constantly comes in new forms. It does not come in the old form. Tighten this loose screw of carelessness. It shouldn't be. This happens anyway. No, this has to happen. This happens anyway. This will do. This is carelessness. And it will happen. Just wait and see. Have this faith. Dadi, Didi, have faith in me. It will happen. It shouldn't be. It will happen. It happens anyway. You definitely have to become like the Father. You have to become that now, not at some future time, but now. There is a third reason for making a firm promise weak. Previously, also, you were told something amusing how some children have very weak short sightedness, whereas their long sight is very sharp. The short sight is to see the self and to change the self, and the long sight is to see others. And what do you see in that? You see weaknesses and not specialities. This is why there is difference in the zeal and enthusiasm of their determination. Even the seniors do this. We are the little ones. And to tell you honestly, this is something that even I did in the starting years. That if I was not following any of the practices, I would say, even the seniors are doing it. So we are newcomers, we are new babies. It's okay. They have been in Gyan for so many years. So the the long-sighted vision of seeing weaknesses deceives you. Because of this, you're not able to put the promise into a practical form. Do you understand what you have to do? So now, do you know how to tighten your screw nut? You have the screwdriver of understanding, do you not? You have all the tools, do you not? So in this year, make all these three the same: to understand, to have the wish to do something, and to actually do it. It shouldn't be that you understand, that you wish to do something, but then you say, what can I do? That you make excuses. To make all three the same means to become like the Father. If Bab Dada tells everyone to give it in writing, in how much time will you write it? In a second. It is easy to write. To write on a piece of paper is not a big thing. Write on your forehead with the ink of determined thoughts. Do you know how to write or not? Do all of you know how to write? Baba's asking. Do you know how to write on your forehead? Or do you only know how to write on a piece of paper? Did all of you write? Those who wrote, raise your hand. Was it firm? It wasn't weak, was it? That it can be erased in 2 days? Look, there are complaints that sometimes you make a weak promise. You have to fulfill it. Even if you die, you must not break your pledge. That is where the saying, people say, no, who actually pledge, who are firm on their promise, they say, over my dead body. Only such a determined thought will easily make you the same as the Father. Otherwise, sometimes there is labor and sometimes there is love, and you will continue to play these games of being conditional. Today, although all the children in this land and abroad are physically there at their own places, in their mind, they are in Madhuban. This is why Bap Dada saw the alokik experiences of everyone on the day of remembrance. You have had very good experiences. You've also done service. Baba is congratulating each child for their alokik experiences and their service. The pure thoughts of everyone, the sweet heart-to-heart conversation, and the garland of the pearls of love have reached Bap Dada. And in return, Bap Dada is also putting a garland of love around the neck of all the children. Each child must accept special personal love and remembrances by name. Baba has such a powerful spiritual wireless set that the sound in the heart of each child reaches Bap Dada at the same time. Not only does the sound reach Baba, but even the loving face of each one emerges in front of Baba. This is why, seeing all the children physically in front of him, Baba is giving special love and remembrance. Acha, to all the powerful souls, to the elevated souls who keep a balance between a firm pledge and revelation, to the children who are the same as the Father, who constantly make all three the same, to understand, to have the wish to do something, and to actually do it, to the victorious jewels of constantly who constantly defeat problems and become the garland around God's neck. Almighty Baptada's love, remembrance, and namaste. And from us children, love, remembrance, and namaste to our dear Bapdada. Shukriya Baba, Shukriya. Avyakt Bapdada is meeting the Dadis. Acha, all of you are worthy of both the wills. That is the will of the beginning and the will at the end of the corporeal form. You have received the willpower, have you not? Together with the effort of the self, the willpower received in the will gives extra help in carrying out the task. As the visible fruit of your courage, you become worthy of receiving multi-million fold help. Many think, why did these souls become instruments? The significance of this is that invisible fruit of having had special courage at that time, at that specific time, became the fruit for all time. This is why it is remembered. When you take one step of courage, you receive multi-million steps of help from the Father. एक कदम हिम्मत का आपकी तरफ से, पदम गुणा मदद बाबा की ओर से. This is why you have attained willpower in the form of a will in order to constantly overcome anything. It is like this, is it not? All of you are also companions. You're fulfilling the responsibility very well. Baba also fulfills his promise of giving cooperation at every moment to those who fulfill their responsibility. So, what is this entire group? This entire group is of those who fulfill. And who are all of you? You're all of those who fulfill, are you not? Or are you those who simply have love? There are many who have love, but only a few who fulfill the responsibility of it. So, in which category are all of you? You are the handful out of the multi millions, and the selected few out of the handful. In the world, there is upheaval, and what are you doing? Baba's asking us, Baba saying, हम वो बच्चे हैं जो कोटों में भी कोई और कोई में भी कोई है. And in the world, there is upheaval. Right now, whatever's happening around. What are you doing? You're enjoying yourself with pleasure. And people out there in the world who haven't got this gyan, they're confused. They're thinking, what should we do? What is to happen? And you are celebrating with pleasure that everything will be good. There is so much difference. In the world, they have questions at every moment as to what will happen. They don't know. And what do you have? Full stop. Why? Because you know where are we heading to. Whatever happened was good, and whatever is to happen is good for us. For the world, it is untimely death because there is ignorance there. People are oblivious, they don't even know what's happening. Whereas for you, it is pleasure. Are you afraid? Will you be afraid when you see a little blood? Will you be afraid when 7 or 8 people are shot in front of you? So Baba is really telling us about the times. It has already started. And in the coming days, you may come across more instances like that. So Baba is preparing us for that. What will be your state of mind? Baba is asking you, you will not see that in your sleep too, right? Will you? Shakti army means to be fearless. Someone who is beyond attachment. You have no fear of Maya and no fear of the upheaval of the elements. Are you fearless to this extent, or are you still weak? So this is the time when Baba is actually giving us to introspect and look within ourselves, that are we yet getting shaken by what's happening around, or out of attachment of people around? And if it is yet there, you got to look at building it up so strong that you don't get impacted. You could see that this is a path to get into Satyug. Acha, Om Shanti. The rest of the Murli we shall continue tomorrow. And for the moment, we'll just take a few moments in silence to reflect on what Baba has told on the Avyak Smriti Divas. And then we'll open up for churning. Okay, you can unmute yourself and be open to share.
Om Shanti. Today was a beautiful Murli, which gave us the knowledge about the difference between a promise and a firm pledge. And I like this point in today's Murli, where it says the whole machine becomes useless even if one screw becomes loose. The screw which makes you lose in life is carelessness. This word is very beautiful. I would like to check into it the whole day. Very nice. Thank you. So we need to be careful in each and every step of our life.
Adding to this point, also with carelessness, Baba said we do bahani bazi, and also we see others, not seeing only one, so we become carelessness. Albilapan comes. So that's we have to make our skill tight. Yeah. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
From the last few,
Yeah, carry on, please.
yeah,
Carry on.
carry on, sister, no problem.
No, you carry fine.
So from the last few lines of the Murli, it just came like this. At the end, there will be Arjun and Parth in Gita also. So Baba is indicating us that we now have to be completely detached, and the circumstance and the time is also showing up that. So unless we are in Swaman and completely detached, we cannot do much seva also this time. We really need to give our best being a Brahmin, because our vibration will contribute in world transformation. So if we are still with the attachment of deha ke samban sampark, then really we are not justifying the role which Baba has bestowed upon us. So from the last few lines, I just felt that that should be my only effort from now, and completely detached, nothing to be merged inside. Man buddhi sanskar chitta mein, nothing should stay now, only Baba, and with this Swaman, only Seva for others. Thank you very much. And well narrated, Murli brother. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Yeah, I Om Shanti, I agree. Beautifully read and very good vibrations. And Rashmi sister, for you, I want to feel always what I feel. You are last so fast. Your energized vibrations enriches everyone here. It's so beautiful each time whenever you say something. It means you are saying in that essence, Swarup mein. So for me also today's takeaway is see self, change self. बाबा ने कहा स्वयं को देखो, खुद को परिवर्तन करना है, then you be a world benefactor. Really we can't afford now to be this bahanebaji, or it's our loss, it's my personal loss, no one else. We don't have to show reveal anyone. First I become complete, that's ultimate seva we can give it. And this Murli, like Arjuna, you mentioned, Rashmi sister. So Baba in our yag, everything he willed power, like to Prakashmani Dadima on 18 January. So they say Smriti Swarup is Samarthi Swarup. More you are in remembrance, so more competent you become, just like Bab Saman. So we, each one of us, we are that Arjuna whom Baba is giving everything. And let me focus on the self, improve myself, and become complete one and one Bab Saman, and show my face to Baba, none other. Om Shanti.
So, adding on to what all the sisters have shared, uh, what Baba has also told in today's Murli, he's been signifying this, that we have to be Bap Saman, that there is no Alvelapan, like how one sister said that. We have to be watchful that there is no looseness where we are. We are not conditional or circumstantial when it comes to being following the path of Srimat. At the same time, what is also important is to be gentle with your own self, because please have this understanding that whatever the sanskars are that we all of us are having right now, it's an accumulation of the sanskars of all the births that are there, and there is also a karmic account that is there. So only thing that is required is the willingness to give yourself completely, and it shall happen. If you force yourself, then there might be a, there might be a possibility of you springing back in the world of manmat. But when we gracefully move ahead, allow it to happen, and be gentle with yourself through the process. You know, there are certain things that you have to do, and there are certain things that just happen. Just say, if I can say that I used to have myself, I used to have onion and garlic, and you know how we would have it normally, in most of the families. I used to have it, and when the time came of awareness, I did not really have to take efforts to leave it. It just made its way out on its own. Only thing that I did was had the willingness to kind of give it up. If I would have said that nahi mujhe nahi khana, mujhe nahi khana, mujhe nahi khana, then it would have been a hut yoga. And then it would be that मैं मेरा मन मार के कर रहा हूँ. So that is one thing that I learned, that every time you get into any kind of uh, you know a default way, the way you think or the way you operate, be gentle with your own self. Surrender it, give it to Baba, and say, Baba, this is what is there, and I'm giving it to you. And I have the willingness, I'm willing to do what is required. That willingness is what will have Baba's support extended towards you to make it easy and graceful. Om Shanti.
Thank you, brother, for this experience. Instead of doing it as a hatha yoga, surrender it to Baba. Yeah, I too had this experience regarding the onion and garlic. Very nicely said.
Om Shanti, brother. To add on it, yes, we can't be harsh on self. There's so much of accumulation of this onion garlic is very small example, but within we have got so much to accept ourselves, to love ourselves, and what we see, who is with me in my journey, the companion, who is he? He's loving me with all my imperfections. So why I have to be little low also? Yes, with my imperfections, whatever I am, Baba has adopted me with those imperfections. So he loves me. He doesn't see any of my weaknesses. He just sees me at the highest platform, elevated. So I have to feel those my imperfections. I have to love them also. Because of them only, I'm God Baba. I have him, and he's making me beautiful and beautiful, giving me that platform to improve upon, and I have to accept everything about myself. Then only we'll go ahead. Om Shanti.
Yes,
Om Shanti.
Anshuben. Yes, sister.
Go ahead, bud.
No, it's all right, Renuben. Please.
Om Shanti, everyone. Good morning. Uh, for me, I took the Trimurti blessings, which Baba talked about, blessings from Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba, the bestower of blessings, and also together with the sweet versions, Jagadamba Saraswati, because whenever she speaks, her class is always called Mama's Murli, which never happens for anybody else. I feel because of that, Baba is also telling that is why we are experiencing the right to easy success. And over the weekend, last weekend, we had Asian retreats, and the seniors, when they were sharing, they also mentioned this. We have a lot of help from the ancestor souls, and I feel not only Mama, all the ancestor souls are also helping us. And there was once Dadi Janki mentioned, it seems, we are actually making only 1% effort. 99% Baba is uplifting us in injecting help for us. So only thing is whether I am surrendered and remaining in soul conscious to continuously remember Baba. Om Shanti, everyone.
Om Shanti. I just wanted to add, I have actually just entered an airplane while I was listening to the Murli. And it's so apt what he said, and I sent a message also. Here we are looking at the smallest things to make sure that the aircraft flies safely. And I think Baba's Murli today has really made a good connection, at least for me, in a very practical manner, that the kind of practice, the kind of training, and the kind of operating procedures that we follow while flying an aircraft, if we just put the same thing what Baba is saying into our spiritual journey, I think the focus, the awareness will definitely help us to reach the destination and walk with Baba. Om Shanti.
So one of the ways to be Bab Saman and to overcome our attachments is to remain connected to Baba. That is why Baba keeps on continuously saying, "Mujhe yaad karo." Okay, uh, I'll tell you this very silly experience of mine or my thought process which I had in the start when I got when I was new to the Gyan, and when I got into listening to the Murli, and in every Murli it used to be, uh, Baba says, mujhe yaad karo. And then I went and I told the sister Deepa Ben, who was the teacher who was teaching me, and I said, isn't Baba arrogant? Because he's all the time telling, mujhe yaad karo. And she laughed and she explained to me that Baba is saying like that so that your mind does not get distracted. Because the moment your mind gets distracted into the worldly, attachments, then one follows the other and then it is a spiral downbound. So that is the reason Baba is continuously telling you, mujhe yaad karo. And that also, he's not telling you to look at, Brahma Baba is not telling to look at him, his figure. He's telling to remember the only the light. Why? Because he doesn't want you to be attached to any other figure as well. And that was an opening and a learning for me, that the reason why we need to be in constant remembrance is so that our mind is that much not away from distraction, and slowly, slowly, it will enable us to build the sattvic sanskars. So, with this note, I will invite everyone to get into the meditation. And today's meditation will be 3 minutes and 3 minutes of silence. There'll be no music, there'll be no commentary. We'll only have a practice of being in silence connected to Baba. And after that, I will say Om Shanti, and we will all, in silence, leave the group and complete today's session and join tomorrow morning again at 5:30. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.